Always great chatting with the featherweight champion. Alexander Volkanovski is going to be rematching Max Holloway at UFC 251 on July 11th. Alex, how are you, man?
I'm very good, mate. I'm very good. Training hard, getting ready, but I'm good.
And it's good to see this fight get booked, or to get you to have a fight. I know when we spoke way back in, I want to say earlier this year, there wasn't a next fight booked. I know you had some time to recover and all that. Was this always the fight? Because I know you mentioned it was a possibility back then, but were there any other opponents offered, or was it always Max Holloway?
There was never anyone else offered. It was always Max, pretty much from straight after the fight. Obviously his name was getting mentioned, and they were saying rematch in Australia. So that was always what it was going to be. Then it got quiet here and there, obviously through what was happening and that as well. So I didn't really know, but there was never anyone else that was brung to me. So it was always going to be Max. And as I've been saying, man, towards the end of the last few months, or the last 4 or 5 months, I wanted it to be Max. You know what I mean? I started there telling myself, like, that's it. That's the fight I want. I don't care. I don't care if I beat him 5 rounds to nil or whatever it is. And a lot of people saying, like, should he get the rematch? And a lot of people saying he should as well. But I was just like, I don't care. This is this fight I need. As you could probably hear me talk about, I've got something to prove. You know what I mean? So I just can't wait to go out there and do my thing. You know what I mean? I'm the best featherweight in the world, and I get to show that again.
And I know the other name that was mentioned was Henry Cejudo, and I know that you said in the ESPN interview that fight was never an option. It was never on the table or anything like that. Was that because the UFC never presented it to you and you never asked them about it? I'm assuming that's why that never came to fruition?
Yeah, pretty much. So that's how it was. Obviously, his name was getting mentioned everywhere, but it was never brung to me. And again, like as I've said, I'm not going to go chasing people outside of my division and whatnot. So I was always going to, whoever's next in line, whoever deserves it. That's how I was. But I was just saying, like, I started maybe considering that fight if it was offered to me, because the fact that he's no longer in the featherweight bantamweight division, flyweight division. Yeah, now I'm not holding up any divisions. I hate that. I hate people holding up, divisions. So if he was to move up to try and go for the 3rd title and holding up 2 divisions, I would have been like, nah, you're dreaming. I think that's shit. And our division was in a state where it was either Max or there wasn't really anyone else. So I was thinking maybe you could squeeze him in. You never know. You get what I mean? So that was maybe an option. Like now, you know what I mean? But now we've got to, in the next few months, we're going to have a lot of UFC featherweight fighters going at it, top-ranked guys. So it's good. The featherweight division is starting to spice up, so it's going to get a lot of attention. And I guarantee you after all these fights, there's going to be so many different number 1 contenders, you know what I mean? Everyone's going to be throwing all these names. He's going to do it. He's going to do this, blah, blah, blah. And then, it'll be time for me to prove myself again. And I love it. You know what I mean? Just love proving people wrong.
So if the Cejudo fight is still on the table potentially after this, how do you feel like you would match up against Henry in that fight? Because very intriguing matchup. Obviously, he's an Olympic wrestler, and he's really worked on his stand-up as well. We saw that in the last fight with Dominic Cruz. How do you see a fight between you and him going from a style perspective?
Yeah, man, look, I'll just obviously be too much everywhere. I'm too much for the bigger guys. And, again, he's got a lot of skill. I'm not knocking the guy, you know what I mean? I've got a lot of respect for him. He's done some big things. But, we're just a whole different beast, and, I'm just way too well-rounded. Obviously, his wrestling isn't going to be a factor against me. And just purely, I'm just too smart as well. So, I'm smart, I'm fast, and I hit hard, you know what I mean? So I've got all the tools to be hard for anyone, especially someone that's a division lower than me. So, you could only imagine how that fight would go. I think I'd be able to just bully him, you know what I mean? So, yeah, again, nothing but respect to the dude, but, obviously he's moving up divisions and it gets harder and harder as you move up.
It certainly does.
I guarantee you if he got to my division, I'll put him straight back into retirement.
The other thing I caught in that ESPN interview is I know it was a little bit difficult to get training together just because of COVID-19 and all that. One thing I did want to ask you about COVID-19 was, was this fight, were you hoping to have this fight sooner, but with COVID-19 that kind of delayed things, or is this the right amount of time you wanted in between your last fight and this one?
No, I wanted to fight earlier than that. Like I was meant to fight in Perth a couple of weeks ago. I was meant to main event. Me and Max were gonna run it back there. So that's that was maybe almost pushing it. I guess you could say. But not really at the same time. Like I could have easily fought, 2 weeks ago. So, but I mean, that was where, all right, we can draw the line there. From a broken hand, doing next to nothing for so long, and then, all right, let's get 12 weeks of rehab and fight camp. I can get it done. But anything after that, it's plenty of time. You know what I mean? So, I was able to stay strong and fit while all this was happening. And, but to have that contact training now, got the exemption to train, got all the best fighters in Australia. That's come to to freestyle fighting gym, to where we are. We're all under the same bubble. Obviously we've got a whole process to make things happen, but it's incredible. The team done a good job to make it so I could train, and obviously get my training partners. So I'm very thankful to be in the position I am and to be able to bust my ass like I am doing.
So no training at City Kickboxing for this camp. Is that sort of the idea there?
Yeah, so no training there. But I mean, in saying that, same schedule. Obviously really good training partners anyway. And then I still got the boys, like I was just video chatting, Brad Riddell just yesterday, going through some of my sparring and, little things to work on. So we're just breaking things down, you know what I mean? So it's the same. It's the same. If anything, it's probably more breaking down right now. The boys are probably going over my sparring footage more. Where, you know what I mean? Like they're trying to do as much as they can, but you know what I mean? When you're there, sometimes, you're seeing it in front of you. You can, you're stuck in complacent. You'll be like, oh, yeah, he's doing good. Oh, yeah, whatever. But now they're like, all right, we need to really see what's happening, what's up. You know what I mean? So they're really, really taking it all in and, looking at little habits that I need to change or whatever it is. And, so same as the Joe, my coach and everyone. So everyone's doing their part still. So it's the exact same. But, just still busting my ass, same schedule.
Does your corner get impacted by that, or is it the same corner as you normally have?
Same corner. So they're all still going to come with me. So I'm still going to have Eugene, Brad Riddell, and obviously my head coach, Joe Lopez. I'll even have Frank Hickman because he'll be over there as well. Oh,
excellent. Okay, good.
So, yeah. So it's going to be, exact same corner, exact same team.
Fantastic. How's the weight cut going? Because, again, the fight's set now, and I know, it's a process, right, to get down to 45.
Yeah, well, there was I probably started a little bit heavy because maybe this was a short notice fight. So they only told me a couple of weeks ago, or just over a couple of weeks ago, sorry. So I started a little heavy, isolation. And, even though I was trying to eat reasonably good, I was still a little bit heavier. Usually I find out about a fight a bit earlier and then I can slowly drop it down. But I had to get stuck into it straight away. But, my body just knows. I'm already lean as shit, you know what I mean? My body's exactly where it should be. So it didn't take me long at all. So, I'm actually pretty happy with where I'm at right now. It's obviously so is my nutritionist, and so it's all good. So we're right on track. Some people even going, are you too light at the moment? Like that's how I'm looking at the moment. So that's pretty good.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, that's always nice to get that type of feedback. What's the mentality going into this fight compared to the first fight? Because you do have the win over him. That mentally has to play a little bit into his head, knowing that he lost in it. It wasn't like it was a close fight. I think anyone watching that fight felt like you won. It wasn't like a controversial decision. So how much do you think that'll play into the rematch? Man,
it's a totally different for me. You know what I mean? I went in there, game plan. You know what I mean? I had to do this, stick to everything. So I know I can beat Max. Give me a full camp, give me a full, game plan or whatever it is, and beat Max at his own game. I know I can do that. I've already done that. I know I can knock him out too. I know I can finish him. So, and that's a hard task. That's a lot of people don't think that can be done. So that's what I want this fight. I want to go out there and do my thing. Obviously, everyone knows I'm not stupid. I'm not a stupid fighter. I'm not just going to go out there and brawl like an idiot. That's not me. But put it this way, there'll probably be a few more risks, and I'm really going to be turning some of them knuckles right in. So, and I think he's going to come forward as well. So I think this is a whole different fight. I think he's seen success when he did more. So I believe that's what he's going to have to do, and that's just calling for a pretty exciting, wild fight. So I'm looking forward. We're both fit. We're both going to go for it. And, I think I'm finishing him. And if he is as tough as they say, the ref might have to step in, you know what I mean? But we'll see. But again, I'm ready to go 5 rounds if I have to. But that's not good enough for me right now. I want to finish him.
Are you seeing sort of a featherweight tournament sort of playing out as far as your next opponent? Not looking past Max, but I'm sure you look ahead as far as to what's after this. They haven't announced it yet, but it looks like it's going to be the Korean Zombie and Brian Ortega, and potentially Yair Rodriguez and Zabit Magomed-Sharipov. There's also Kattar and Ige. Do you see sort of one of those winners, putting on an impressive performance, potentially fighting the winner of this fight? Is that sort of what you're looking at?
Well, mate, I think that's exactly what's going to happen. So I've definitely got my eye on all of them. And that's what I mean by it spicing up. I don't know if they're confirmed, but there's a lot of people talking about it, and I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. And, man, that's exciting. It's exciting for me as well. Because I don't know if you remember me talking, maybe when I was talking to you last time, or like a big problem, people are going, oh, what's next? I'm like, well, we need to find out who's the number one contender, because there's no one really – everyone's all in the same sort of position, I believe. They're all one fight away. That's how I felt. There's like 4 or 5 of them that are like one fight away from being a title contender. And now they're all fighting each other. So this is, I wish this happened earlier. And then, everyone would have been, you probably, even though I want this rematch, like I said, this is a match, this is the fight I want. But I guarantee you, it would have been hard to give it to Max if one of them guys, say your Korean Zombie took out Ortega or Zabit took out your Rodriguez. You know what I mean? It'd be hard to take that away from them fighters. So, but I mean, that didn't happen. And obviously Max was a great champion, and they want to give him that rematch. And like I said, I'm all for it. Nothing but respect to the man. But again, I'm the best featherweight in the world, and I need to prove that July 11th. And he wants to prove me wrong. And we're both gamers. He's going to come forward. We're both going to bring it on. I can't wait. Nothing but respect. But I refuse to lose.
Yes. Last question. I know we got to wrap things up here quickly. We got obviously your fight on the 11th, like you mentioned, and we talked about how there's a lot of work to be done in the featherweight division just because there is some contenders in the wings. But lightweight, is that something you'd ever consider? Because Khabib Nurmagomedov, I think that's one fight that people would love to see is you and Khabib. Do you ever see yourself fighting Khabib Nurmagomedov in the future?
Yeah, look, I do. Again, as I said, I'm not the one that I don't like people chasing other divisions, running away from their division, whatever. But that is definitely an option. So right now, I've got a belt to defend, and then there's probably going to be number one contender. And I want to stay, I want to stay active. So I'll fight. But I mean, early next year, if something comes to me like that fight, I'll have to take it. And again, I'll leave this here. Obviously, Khabib's one of the GOATs as well. Nothing but respect to the dude, but I'm one man to heart. I'm very, very, very hard to hold down. So I'll just leave that in everyone's mind. But before we head off, so you know what I mean. I've obviously got the brains, got the cardio. I'm a freak when it comes to holding on the ground. It's just almost impossible to hold me on the ground. But I'll just leave that in everyone's mind. But again, nothing but respect to all the fighters that are in the UFC. But we're every single one of us want to prove something. And, eventually I want to prove myself in that lightweight division too.
Alex, appreciate the time. Anything you want to plug, any social media, any sponsors, the floor is yours, sir.
Yeah, man, just tune in July 11th. We're going to do it. Obviously social media at Alex Volkanovski. Stay tuned. Got some cool videos. Check them out. Keep up to date.